Authenticity also means I don't have to become a completely different person in order for you to love me. If you don't like who I am right now, then we need to not do this. Welcome to Women Being Loved. I'm Tadra, your host. How hard is it to do something you've never done, never been coached on, never witnessed up close? Even if you had the tools to do the thing, do you think you'd be able to figure it out? Let's take a simple example. A birthday cake. What if I asked you to make a birthday cake from scratch? But you have never seen a birthday cake. You have never tasted a birthday cake. But I explained to you that birthday cakes are awesome and they make people happy. Then I left you a grocery bag filled with flour, a box of sugar, a dozen eggs, 4 sticks of butter, cocoa, vanilla extract, sprinkles, candles, and matches. And I told you to put all those things together and come out with a birthday cake. Without Google, how successful do you think you would be at making that cake? Yeah. But that's how most of us are turned out into the world and expected to create successful romantic relationships. When you don't even know what that's supposed to look like, it's very hard to create. And love is far, far more complicated than trying to make a birthday cake. Because the other people you're meeting and trying to establish a relationship with, they're also trying to bake something. But maybe they have the ingredients to make cornbread. And y'all up there fighting over when to add the corn to the birthday cake. It's a mess. So how do we learn? Well, for most of us, by being turned out into the wilderness with, may the odds be ever in your favor. And most times they ain't. They're just not. And we suffer heartache after heartache until we're ready to give up. And we think, no, this love thing, it's for other folks, not for me. Hopefully, all of us gathered here today, hey girl, hey, know the basics of unhealthy relationships. Did you catch that? I said unhealthy relationships. But just in case, let's go through some of the unhealthy characteristics. 1, no physical or emotional abuse, no infidelity, no disrespect, no belittling, no threats, no isolation, no guilting, no manipulation, no gaslighting, no hostility. I'm sure there are others, but let's stop there. A healthy relationship also is not longevity. It's not longevity. Just because you've been with that person for 20 years does not mean you have a healthy relationship. I've been around couples who brag about their 35 years together, but they hate each other. They can't be in the same room together. That is not success. That is not. So what is success? Success. What is healthy? Well, let's start with a word that I think is super important for building healthy relationships. And that word is authentic. When you and that other person you're beginning to date show up as your authentic, real selves, no airs or fake charisma, you are setting this foundation for a healthy relationship should the two of you be a good match. Many of us waste precious time on people who definitely, I'm just saying it, aren't a good match. And we're not a good match for them. But because we're faking, they're faking, everybody's faking, it takes months to see the reality. Authenticity also means I don't have to become a completely different person in order for you to love me. If you don't like who I am right now, then we need to not do this. And ladies, get a pen. I'll wait. Get a pen. Write it on the back of your hand. Do not marry potential. But he could be, yeah, but he's not. And until he is, if that's what he wants, you're going to have to wait and see if he wants it, whatever it is, enough to make those changes on his own. From my experience, it's probably best that you move on. I love my friend Robin, who is part of my wonderful Wise Collective, and she talks about her relationship with her husband of 18 years. Listen to this.
Well, we are our own people. Mm-hmm. I don't try to please him. I mean, it's nice if I do, and I prefer that I do, but I'm not focused on pleasing him. I'm focused on being who I am, and I'm hopeful that pleases him.
Robin and her husband did a lot of individual work before coming together, and then they did work together to make sure they weren't making a mistake, that they weren't wasting each other's time. So now they are both in the relationship as their authentic selves. Neither of them have to work on pleasing the other person like it's a full-time job. They know that the other person, just being themselves, is pleasing to them. Now, I'm not saying they don't do kind, loving gestures for each other. It means their existence isn't spent walking on eggshells. It can be exhausting when you can't be your authentic self because you're worried that your significant other won't be pleased. Another woman who will tell her story in my upcoming book, shameless plug there, said this about the love relationship that she's in now, which for her is later in life versus the relationship she had when she was younger.
It's different because I have more understanding of what love is, what it is to be in a relationship with someone that wants the best for you. And of course, vice versa, and someone that allows me to be me.
Oh, isn't that wonderful?
I could just float, Taj. I could just be in the ocean, just float.
Mm-hmm. Someone who allows me to be me. Authentic, right? That's authentic. She also covered another important point. Did you hear it? Unselfish. So that's your second word, unselfish. If you and your significant other want the best for each other, then you're not being selfish. And that is an amazing way to have a healthy relationship. Another way to build a healthy relationship is to be a whole person. WHOLE, whole person when you come to the relationship. You're not looking for somebody to complete you, right? Let's hear from Rebecca, another woman in the Wise Collective. She explains it perfectly when she says, I had gotten to a point in my life where I embraced that I am whole unto myself. If I find someone else, great. I don't need him. I don't need a partner. And this was an important part of my relationship building with Sean. Sean's her husband. We didn't need each other. What made it amazing was we wanted to share our whole selves with each other. Okay. Rebecca covered 2 points in what she said. Whole, which we knew that was coming, but she also mentioned open. So they were whole individuals before each other and after, and then they were open to each other, seeing the good and the bad, and trusted that their partner is a safe space and would continue to love them. So a quick recap. Authentic. Be yourself. Don't put on airs to land a partner. It will backfire. Unselfish. Your partner wants the best for you. You want the best for them. It's a win-win. Whole. You are complete in yourself, and so is your partner. You come together because you want to, not because you need to. And finally, open. You're willing to share who you are in the deep places, to discuss ideas, philosophies, traumas, fears, all of it. Of course, this doesn't all happen overnight, but it is something to intentionally work towards. Part 2 of this topic will drop next week. And as always, I'll draw upon the advice and help of the Wise Collective. If you haven't listened to other episodes, The Wise Collective is a group of 50 women who I have interviewed extensively, got all up in their business on love for a book I'm writing that will be published later this year. As usual, please leave a comment or review on this episode. I would love to hear from you. And if this episode brought clarity or encouragement to you, please consider sponsoring this podcast or giving a one-time gift. Doesn't matter, any amount, $5 would be great, to help me have more time to interview and create quality content weekly. Look in the show notes for details, and I will see you next week when I will discuss part 2 of what is a healthy love relationship.